Two, three things which I will just very mention sometime later also. That one problem that India became the great thing. 98, India started exporting software, $5 billion, and then the target was set by Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Can we do something remarkable which India has never done? I suppose most people agree it can be software, it can be IT. That we can make this $5 billion to $50 billion in 10 years. And $50 billion is a big number in the world context. In 10 years, 10 times. So this challenge was taken. We are all sitting there. And then this initiative took. Actually, in 2008, to cut the story short, the IT movement and telecom, many of the recommendations, which are the policy frameworks, all that mobile, all those policies were written that time. And then we decided to implement. There were some guys who were trying to implement those policies, all the policy frameworks. And 2008, we actually crossed $50 billion exports. Today is $80 billion, this one. Telecom story, nobody knew that we are going to make some great wonder in telecom. The mobile decision was taken, and most people thought it cannot be done. The mobile policies, some people wonder, we write some policies, and you put them. I had that advantage, I was holding the positions, both in the government and also in the laboratory. Like Bhava, all these people, hell, simultaneously. You write the policy, you go there, sit another side, approve that, come back. And of course, your minister supported Rajiv Gandhi, of course, they are not there, but the minister also will support this. Prime Minister supported that, and there was no problem. And then mobile revolution occurred like that. We never thought this mobile revolution will come in this way today. Today we have done something remarkable. Don't read only those scams and that corruptions and 2Gs and all that. That's a very different thing altogether. Nothing to do. It is the people who have worked, engineers, etc., to make this mobile story happen. I could not lay a fiber line. We did not know how to lay a fiber optic line. So mobile revolution occurred, supercomputing revolution occurred, and really I2IT was born in that dream only. I2IT came like this, same thing that we require high quality people for the IT revolution to happen, not just service people, not just engineers who can write software programs, but we should go to higher level, go to research level, some innovations, and that word innovation leadership came, and Maharashtra government was not ready to take the initiative. So it was time the I2IT idea was proposed to Maratha Chamber of Commerce when Mr. P.P. Chhabria was the president, that we should create institute through private initiatives. Also, not only for the government thing, and he came on the bold step and started, we will create such an institute. And this was the result of, but it has to be created because there is no policy for starting master's level courses. There was no policies to really doing such institutes like that. After this one, unless you are engineering college, you cannot get that done. So we created that framework, and he built in this vision, and that I2IT really started. We gave the innovation and leadership. We had to go through all kind of things because then the AICTE came out with entirely different frameworks, and we went through, I don't want to get the whole story, but we went through all kind of things, and it became a very successful model until policy frameworks, etc., came in way, all this kind of things, and we had to go through some really challenges ahead. So I2IT is a dream of the institute of creating new institutes of this kind in different branches, on all IEEE branches, which I never heard of. I mean, you see VLSI, we are the first to start VLSI, embedded systems, even the automotive, networking, telecom, software was not known as a MEMTech subject, software technologies, IT for management, then interdisciplinary sciences like nanosciences, nanotechnologies, biology, bioinformatics, biotechnology, stem cell biology, which came later. So all those branches we attempted, which would not have been possible otherwise, because the government regulations did not permit at that time to do that. That experiment is with it. It is an unfinished experiment. Now we are undergrad students here, and we have postgraduate students. We'll add postgraduate disciplines. We have postgraduate with the IGNOU, which Vice Chancellor responded very strongly to that. And we'll continue with the challenges, introduce new disciplines, or carry on that frontier, go for doctoral programs and PhD programs like that. In the meantime, we are working with the IIIT frameworks with the government, and we really gave the whole idea to Maharashtra government, driving in that there should be IIIT. This was to be transformed into IIIT. All that rather, but some things which have come in way, but that doesn't matter. Many challenges will be there. So we want to create a great learning institute, a new university perhaps in the times to come, and you are I think the architects of that dream. If I want to do something, I was also interested in really bringing IT revolution to the masses, and we started that. It was not just thing as higher level, but also spreads across. We started a literacy program, IT literacy programs, and it has spread now like anything to 6 million people. And a huge thing which is happening through ETH and MKCL and other thing frameworks. And another thing I have a dream is to create a new university in which we resurrect India's ancient Gurukul system, which I am working on. That we have Gurukul system in Ayurveda, in yoga, in music, in dance, in many forms of ancient forms where people still learn in the same way. How ICT can be used for creating extended gurukuls, like what you call e-gurukuls, whatever the students could be all over the world, but a teacher will be there which will teach and interactive learning, which is their e-learning frameworks, etc. But really, interactive learning, which is happening now, which is happening that you will have huge video walls or televisions. You can speak to this one, and you can have interactive programs across the world. You can learn on iPads, and other things. Students will learn. That is what will happen. That bringing education to really directly to you, with of course institutions like that supporting you and all this kind of thing. So that is what we are carrying, the ancient Gurukul system, the ancient great culture and heritage of India to shine on the internet. Must like Wikipedia, most of the heritage should come, the Vedas and all the Upavedas and all the Dakshinas, everything should come. So everybody wants to learn, they can learn that, whatever they want to learn. You are free to learn, but the only thing you should have intention to learn. The only thing you really intention to learn, and your intention to your teachers, and nothing should become a barrier for learning. So this is the dream which we are carrying. Lastly, I would end with this. I had articulated this in our brochure also, that the 21st century belongs to India. When I was born, it was a very poor country, one of the poorest. We didn't have food to eat, the whole nation, until 60s. Then the Green Revolution occurred, and today India is the 4th largest economy of the world, and we are going to soon take over Japan. And we never thought we'll take $1 trillion, $1.5 trillion, and soon now, next year we'll be crossing Japan in terms of economy. And then the 3 countries are going to play the economic game, really the world game, is the US, China, and India. They say China, India. I foresee that with the political systems, as you guys more and more liberalized, US economy is really faltering now, because you have seen that the double recession which is coming. India has first time in the history a chance really to be again the #1 nation of the world. In terms of economic terms, in terms of education, in terms of science and technology, in terms of knowledge. Knowledge is really the premier thing, because India is the first knowledge-based civilization. So I always articulated on that and when India celebrates her centenary of her freedom, 2047, 15th August, most of you people will be there teaching, I think studying and working, that we would have gone somewhere in the sky and we'll be saying from the 2047, India should become again, reclaim her great glory of the greatest nation of the world, not only in some economic terms, not in science and technology, but really true knowledge that pursued the very fundamental goal of who am I, who perceives this world, what is the goal of my life, why I am here. Those questions which science also asks, India has answered in the Vedas, in this one, and all the things like that. In a multicultural, multi-religious, multilingual country like that, to show that path to the world. So India should become a Jagat Guru by creating great universities and great learning things. That is the dream, and let us, in that dream, I think you have to architect that future of India. So this is what I think I would like to see this happening sooner than later, and this is happening. I have no doubt in my mind. This was prophesied by Swami Vivekananda. This will happen. Whatever may be the scams, whatever may be the thing, what you are reading, that is not the issue. This will happen. This is the times will call for, this history, this is the destination for India. So you will be the architect. You are really born lucky that you are living these times, and you will make this happen. I wish you all the best, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of International Institute of Information Technology, Pune, the faculty